I saw her for the first time when the classroom door slammed shut. My heart stopped. She wasn't just another student. She was different. The way she looked at me, the way she smiled, it felt like a secret meant only for me. But what happened next turned that first love into something I could never forget. I still remember the day she walked into the classroom. The door slammed shut behind her, the noise jolting everyone's attention, but my eyes didn't leave her face. She wasn't like the others. There was something sharper in the way she carried herself, something that cut through the stale air of that small-town school. Her name was Anna. She introduced herself in a soft voice, but I barely heard the words. What I noticed was the way she looked around the room, her gaze quick, searching, cautious, as if she already knew she would stand out. From that moment, I was gone. My hands trembled when I opened my notebook. My throat went dry whenever she sat near me. I was 15, awkward, restless, but that single look across the classroom burned itself into me like fire. I didn't speak to her for days. I just watched. At lunch, she sat alone, drawing in a notebook. At recess, she leaned against the fence, eyes on the horizon, while the other girls whispered in groups. She didn't seem to belong anywhere, and that only pulled me closer. The first time I forced myself to approach, it felt like stepping off a cliff. I walked up to her during lunch break, my palms sweating. "That drawing," I muttered, pointing to her notebook. "It's good." She looked up, her eyes locking onto mine. There was no smile, no polite thank you. Instead, she asked, "Why are you watching me all the time?" My face burned. I wanted to run. But then she smiled, just slightly, almost hidden. "I don't mind," she added. That single exchange hooked me deeper than anything else in my young life. From that day, I wasn't just watching her. I was chasing every chance to be near her, to hear her voice, to see if that almost hidden smile would return. I didn't know then that this first glance, this first connection, would set off a chain of moments that would change me forever. It started small. Sitting next to her in class, sharing answers on math problems, trading comments about the teachers. But quickly, it grew into something neither of us admitted out loud. We started meeting after school, not in obvious places, never where the others could see. Behind the gym, near the old oak tree by the football field, once, even in the library, hidden between the dusty shelves. At first, we just talked about books, about how much we hated that town, about how she felt invisible even when everyone stared at her. She confessed she wanted to leave, to go somewhere big, somewhere she wouldn't be trapped. I didn't say it, but I knew I'd follow her anywhere. Then, one afternoon, as the sun dipped low and the schoolyard emptied, she leaned close. Her hair brushed my face. My heart slammed against my chest so hard I thought it might break through. And then she kissed me. It wasn't long, just a few seconds, but it felt like the entire world cracked open and rebuilt itself in those seconds. I'd never known anything like it. We kept it quiet. Nobody knew, not the teachers, not our classmates, not even my closest friend. We created our own world in stolen minutes, hidden corners, whispered words. And the more secret it became, the more addictive it felt. But secrets like that don't stay hidden forever. Not in a small town. Not in a place where every glance gets noticed. The first rumor came from a classmate who saw us slipping out the back door together. By the next day, whispers spread like wildfire. Some laughed, some mocked, some warned me she wasn't the right kind of girl. I ignored them. She was mine, and nothing else mattered. At least, that's what I thought. The day everything boiled over started like any other. The bell rang, the chatter filled the halls, and Anna walked in, wearing that same calm, untouchable look she always carried. But the whispers were louder that morning. I heard my name paired with hers in every corner. By the time we sat down, I could feel the tension pressing in on us like walls. Halfway through class, it exploded. The same boy who mocked me weeks earlier leaned back in his chair and muttered just loud enough, "I wonder how many more she'll kiss before him." The class roared with laughter. My vision blurred. Before the teacher could react, I was on my feet, my hand gripping his shirt. The room fell silent, except for the sound of desks scraping. "You say that again," I hissed. My fist was already trembling with rage. The teacher barked at us, pulling me back, sending me to the principal's office. I didn't care. For the first time, I wasn't just defending myself. I was defending her. By the time I got home, my parents already knew. The phone call had beaten me there. My father's voice was sharp, each word like a slap. "You're throwing away your future for this girl. Do you even hear yourself?" I shouted back for the first time in my life. "It's my life." The silence that followed was heavier than any scream. My father looked at me like I was already lost. My mother just sat there, quiet, shaking her head. That night, I snuck out. I found Anna sitting near the oak tree where we first talked. She looked up as I approached, her eyes glinting in the dark. "They'll never understand," I said. My voice cracked. She nodded. "They don't have to." We sat there for hours, talking about leaving, about running somewhere no one could stop us. It was the kind of talk teenagers whisper in the dark, half dream, half dare. But for me, it felt real. The next day, the principal suspended me for fighting. My parents grounded me, took my phone, banned me from seeing her. But it didn't matter. We always found a way. A note slipped into a locker, a quick glance across the hallway. Meeting at night when everyone thought we were asleep. The tighter they tried to pull us apart, the stronger we became. But strength built in secrecy is fragile. Every lie to my parents, every skipped class, every rumor spread in the halls, and it was stacking like cards in a tower, and I knew it couldn't stand forever. One night, Anna whispered, "What if we really did it? Just left." Together, her voice was calm, but her eyes burned. I wanted to say yes. I wanted to take her hand and never look back. But deep inside, I felt the weight of reality pressing down. Still, I nodded, because in that moment, I would have promised her anything. It was a Friday night when Anna gave me the signal. Just a glance across the hallway, just a folded note slipped into my hand. Tonight, midnight, oak tree, the hours dragged like chains. At dinner, my father lectured me about discipline. My mother barely spoke. I pushed food around my plate, my heart pounding so loudly I thought they could hear it. When the clock struck 11, I lay in bed fully dressed, pretending to sleep. At 11:45, I slid the window open. The cold air slapped my face. My feet hit the ground with a thud, and I froze, waiting for a shout from inside. None came. Step by step, I ran into the night. Anna was already there, sitting under the oak tree. A small backpack rested at her feet. She looked at me with a half smile, half fear in her eyes. "You came," she whispered. "Of course," I said. My voice was shaking. We didn't waste time. We walked fast, almost running, our hands brushing but not quite holding. The streets were empty, but every sound felt magnified. A barking dog, A car in the distance. The crunch of gravel beneath our shoes. At the bus stop, she checked her watch. "There's one at 12:20. If we get on, we're gone." Her words lit something inside me. This wasn't just a fantasy anymore, it was real. But reality has sharp edges. As we waited, headlights appeared, too slow for a bus, too familiar. A car pulled up. My stomach dropped. My father's car. The door slammed, and his voice cut through the night like a blade. "Get in the car!" Now Anna froze. Her eyes darted to me, then to the bus schedule taped to the pole, then back to him. I stood there, caught between them. My father's glare was fire. Anna's eyes were pleading. For a second, the world held its breath. The bus wasn't there yet. The road stretched out in silence. My heart pounded so violently, it hurt. "Choose," my father barked. Anna whispered, "Don't let them control you." And I, 15 years old, trembling, pulled in two directions, felt my life tearing in half. The sound of an engine approached in the distance, the bus. But I knew, whatever choice I made in that moment, nothing would ever be the same again. The bus headlights cut through the night like a promise. I heard the brakes squeal in the distance, a heavy sound echoing across the empty street. Anna gripped my arm, her nails pressing into my skin. My father stood just steps away, his jaw locked, his eyes blazing with authority. "Get in the car," he barked again. "No," Anna whispered to me. "Don't let him win. This is our chance." The bus slowed as it approached, its engine rumbling, the doors hissing open. The driver looked out, confused by the standoff on the sidewalk. I couldn't breathe. My heart was torn down the middle. On one side, Anna, the first girl who ever made me feel alive, who kissed me like nothing else mattered. On the other, my father, the man who raised me, the man I feared, the man I both hated and craved approval from. My legs wouldn't move, my throat tightened. "Son," my father said softer this time, "don't throw your life away for this." Anna's voice cracked. "If you go with him, we're done." The bus driver coughed impatiently. "You kids getting on or not?" And in that split second, fear won. My feet turned toward my father. My chest felt hollow as I climbed into the car. I didn't look back. Not until the car pulled away and the bus disappeared into the dark, carrying Anna with it. She didn't wave. She didn't cry. She just stared through the window, her face pale, unreadable. Then she was gone. The silence in the car was unbearable. My father didn't yell. He didn't even look at me. He just drove, his hands gripping the wheel. And me? I sat there, knowing I had just lost the only girl I had ever truly loved. That night, I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, the sound of the bus echoing in my ears, and I knew some choices follow you forever. Years passed, but I never forgot her. I saw her once more, years later, by accident. I was in college, walking across the campus lawn, when I spotted her sitting under a tree. Same long hair, same sharp eyes. She looked older, more confident, surrounded by friends. She laughed, that same laugh that once pulled me in. Our eyes met for a brief moment. My chest tightened. I wanted to run to her, to explain, to apologize, to beg for another chance. But then a boy walked up, kissed her cheek, and she smiled in a way I hadn't seen since the early days of us. And just like that, I knew I had no place in her life anymore. I walked past, unnoticed. To her, I was just someone from a small town, someone who once promised everything and then chose fear over love. Now, as an old man, I still think of that night. The hiss of the bus doors, the way her eyes begged me to be brave, The moment I turned away, my life went on. I married, I had children, I worked, I built, I grew old. But in the quiet hours, when the house was dark and silence pressed against me, I remembered her. First love doesn't fade. It lingers like a scar, hidden beneath the years, but always there. If I had stepped onto that bus, everything might have been different. Maybe better, maybe worse. I'll never know. But I do know this. The memory of Anna stayed with me longer than any marriage, any job, any success. And sometimes, when I close my eyes, I still see her, standing under the oak tree, backpack at her feet, whispering, "Don't let them control you." I didn't listen then, but her words echo in me still.